right, we know we all have a little bit to learn about finances, right?
That's a fact.
We keep working on it. But when it comes to your kids, how do you help them learn? You're still learning. How do you help the kids learn? That's the question.
The author of How to Afford Everything, Dr. Darla Bishop, joins us to talk about getting your kids involved in the family finances. Dr. Bishop, good morning. Before we get into that, though, let's just talk about the background of this book and why you wrote it.
So I grew up here in Detroit, and what I realized when I went to U of M is some of my classmates had a lot more money in their lives and had a completely different relationship. When I tried to ask those 17 and 18-year-olds, like, so how did you get there? Just like I didn't know why I was poor, they didn't know why they weren't. So I started reading books.
Nobody, yeah, so in other words, everyone had about the same financial IQ, what do we call that, financial smarts, but different levels of wealth.
That's right.
And so you said, we all gotta figure this out.
Yeah, that's right. If I'm here at school with them, I must be as smart, maybe even smarter.
Right.
So I just gotta figure out the money part. So I started reading, and after reading more than 100 books, I kept saying to myself, I should write a book. I could have written this book, because there were 3 things missing. None of the books told me where to start and where to go next if I had no idea where to start and where to go next. 2, very few left room for me to help my family. Almost all the books said, you don't borrow money, you don't lend money, you don't help family members, and that was not a reality for my family dynamic. I needed to be able to support my younger siblings and to help my mom bridge the gap if she had a gap. And the 3rd thing is, like, look, so many of the books said you have bad money because you've made bad decisions. No, no, no. Actually, I've made really good decisions based on what was available to me. So give me a little bit of credit for how much I do know, and just help me figure out how to live with money, because I already know how to live without it.
One of the things that is so unique about you, and one of the reasons why we love having you in here, is because I feel like you come from a very realistic approach.
Yes.
It is not an idealistic approach with, like, you must do this, this, and this.
And shame on you.
Right. It is a real life kind of example.
This is real life practical advice from somebody who figured it out and helped my friends and family figure it out along with me. Because if they're doing well, I'm doing well.
So let's talk about when it comes to our kids, because we feel like September brings up all kinds of lessons, right? Kids headed back to school, we're evaluating our lives, our wardrobes, all of it. So when do we start talking to kids about money? How young does that start?
Early and often. Preschoolers, as you're reading books, pick out a few at the library or at the bookshelf that talk about what money is, what coins are, that we used to trade cows for goods, because helping them understand just what money is as a tool is the building block. Then once they get to school age and they're reading on their own, that's when you can start having them do certain tasks, when you can start doing math with them around money, when you have them actually holding paper money to buy things when you're at the store, so that they understand that the magic card is not so magic.
Yeah, I mean, just understanding what the value of dollars, right?
And there's no magic formula, I would think, for what age. Like, my 9-year-old daughter and my 7-year-old son have 2 completely different views right now of what money is.
That's right. And so the important thing is to figure out what types of things they're thinking about and interested in, and to build in money lessons in that car ride, at the dinner table, when they ask to buy something or participate in it. Say, okay, well, that costs this much. That means that mom and dad might have to work this many hours. What should we do to shift that cost, or what can we give up temporarily to make sure we can do it? Helping them to learn that trade-off.
Help us navigate high school age and even, I would say, college. There is such a on social media, and I hate to always blame social media, but there are so much the trappings of whether it's fancy coffee drinks or clothes or makeup. There's a lot of spending going on. So how do we rein that in a little bit?
Every teenager in your life should have a job, whether it's a formal or a former job, or even a volunteering situation, because understanding that we have to trade our time and talents for money is an important lesson. And then they start to understand that if I buy coffee every day, that means that I just lost 2 hours of my life, because that's how much I made at work. The other piece is that you have to help your kids, and this is why starting early helps, is like, just because your friend has this, they have, just like everybody in their house has different rules, everybody has different rules and the ways that they use money as a tool. So in our house, in our family, this is how we use money, this is how we use the tool, this is how we help one another. And so you can be really intentional about teaching your kids what you want them to know and how you want them to live their life around money.
And allowance, good? Oh.
Allowance is great, but don't tie it to chores, because actually chores are part of how we live our house. Like, everybody
Yeah,
in this
that's
house
right.
has a job.
Not
Take
paying
the
you to
trash
unload
out.
the dishwasher.
No.
Luke, take the trash
Yeah,
out.
I'm
Not
allowing
paying you, Luke.
to live here by taking the trash out.
Right.
The bad news is music needs commercial, and we have to end the segment. The good news is we have so much more to talk about. We're just going to have you back.
All
Yes.
right.
Where do we get the
Please.
book?
DarlaBishop.com or anywhere you buy books online, including Target.com.
Look at that.
Look at you.
How to afford
But when you go to
everything.
Target.com, be careful.
Yes.
Lee, over to you.